Alfred's gonna do well wherever he is.
Except here with us.
That's my fault.
I didn't say that.
Couldn't bring Samuel back home alive either, could I?
Don't you dare say that, boy. That was in God's hands.
That's a young Brad Pitt with Anthony Hopkins in Legends of the Fall, one of director and producer Ed Zwick's many successes. He's looking back on his remarkable career with Luke Burbank.
And common sticks, Office 2 marker.
If you were making a movie about Ed Zwick, the Oscar-winning producer and director of various huge films,
This is just a beautiful campus.
Isn't it?
Act One would definitely feature the American Film Institute in LA as a backdrop.
So it's very hands-on. It's very deep into the pool right away. And your other students, or fellows as we are called here, will in fact become your own teachers.
This was where, back in the 70s, a 20-something Ed realized he was out of his depth and had to quickly start learning from his peers.
Action!
That's something he hasn't stopped doing over his 40-plus year career.
All right, I'd like to print that. Let's print A and B camera.
There's a great American narrative tradition that this has become a part of.
Think you got something to tell me, Sergeant?
Over the years, he's directed some of Hollywood's brightest. Denzel Washington.
I'm gonna find out the truth, I guarantee you that.
Tell this man,
Tom Cruise.
if he does not shoot me, I will kill him.
You're using him.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm using him, and you are using me, and this is how it works, isn't it?
And almost Julia Roberts, who agreed to star in Shakespeare in Love before quitting without a word, shutting the film down for years. It's all recounted in Zwick's new book, Hits, Flops, and Other Illusions: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Working in Hollywood.
It's a crucible. And in a crucible, among artists, things fulminate. And there's actually something beautiful about that, and often something very good comes of that. But I wanted to tell it as it was.
Zwick and his producing partner, Marshall Herskovitz, have been in that crucible since the two met as students at AFI and formed what they call the longest partnership in Hollywood history.
We love to make epic films, big films, but we also believe that people can achieve the epic in normal life.
Which is what they tried to achieve with their first TV series.
There isn't enough time.
30-something. They didn't think it would last one season.
Did you ever think of having an affair?
I don't have time to read the back of a cereal box.
But it actually went on for 4 and won 13 Emmys.
We were really interested in ambivalence, and the ambivalence of being in a marriage, the ambivalence of being in your job, and you want to just screw around, but you have to work hard. All the contradictions of life. That upset people a lot. People often wanted to have just a very straight up and down depiction of life. But that's not what life is.
There's more to fighting than rest, sir. There's character.
While making 30-something, Zwick got his hands on a script about a group of black soldiers from Massachusetts during the Civil War. Glory was a sensation.
I ain't fighting this war for you, sir.
Battles on screen were matched by battles behind the scenes.
Stand by, quiet, action.
With, as Zwick says, of all people, Matthew Broderick's mother, who he says fought for Zwick to enlarge the role her son was playing, that of the white leader of the African-American regiment. It was an early lesson for Zwick in when to compromise and when to hold your ground.
Hey, Mark.
What I wonder is how you've navigated the world as a director and as a creative of when to fight for something and when to realize it's not worth it.
Oh, well, I don't know if this is fit for CBS television, but there's a poem by E.E. Cummings. And the last line of the poem is, "There is some we'll not eat." But that also suggests that there's a world of that he will eat. And having to make that decision is really crucial.
And if you look at his films, people cry in those movies. They are affected by the movie. They remember the movie. But in order to give a profound experience, you have to put a lot of things together. And I think that's what Ed does so brilliantly. You have to have a great story. You have to have an amazing sense of casting. Then you have to know how to deal with these very special people who are going to go out there and be the face of this movie. And I think in the book, he very eloquently talks about the different ways you have to handle different people.
If this film,
People are unpredictable.
the one about Ed Zwick, does have a villain, it might be Harvey Weinstein, who ended up buying the Shakespeare in Love script that Zwick had so lovingly developed, then kept him from getting to the microphone on the Oscar stage.
Only in Hollywood can you end up feeling bad about something you're supposed to feel really good about. But it turned out to be actually very important for me later, that it wasn't about fairness necessarily. It was about hard work and knowing what you've done and then moving on, that you're gonna get knocked down. There is a cruelty in this business that you have to accept in terms of the vagaries of what happens. And what do you do then? Do you get up? And can you keep going?